Alright, gentlemen, in class, we should, sorry, getting rid of stuff, you should have set this up. You should have a minimum of 7. I'm changing those requirements. A minimum of 7. Remember, this is going to allow you to kind of take a look at different stocks and how they've changed. So for those of you who don't know, a stock is when you have a public company. They need investors. They need somebody to pay for their company to be in existence, to help pay their salaries and that sort of thing. So you can either be privately owned, which means some dude paid a lot of money to start up a company, or kind of like football teams or basketball teams, one person buys them, right? Well, if you want to go public, meaning anybody in the world can buy stock in your company, which means they can buy a little piece of your company. That way, you don't have to risk all of your own money. You're risking other people's money, and other people are taking a risk in you. Now, that means if that company makes money, you can sell your stock and gain the profits. Alright, so if you bought a stock for $30 and the company is now worth, or their stock is worth $80, you've just made $50 off of that company if you choose to sell. If you don't choose to sell, then you just continue to write it out. So here's what you're doing. You're picking companies that are publicly traded. All of these are publicly traded and found in the system. And I'll show you what I mean by the system in a sec. Make sure you have their symbols. This is going to make your life way easier for you down the line, because Excel has this data component, and you can actually, when I click on this, get stocks loaded directly from Excel. I'll get back to that later. And then you are to research the current price. Make sure you date this. So maybe put that in the heading, but don't forget what date this was done on. So for some of you it was 2/17/16. For others of you it was 2/18. Nope, 16. That's a lie. Some of you guys are going to do this on the 19th. Okay. Date 19. Alright, so now that you have your prices, you use the website. It's called www.marketwatch.com/investing/stock/ alright, here's the catch. You need to type in whatever stock symbol you want to find out. AAPL. I want to know about Apple, and I want to know their historical data as well. Google also actually has a way of doing this, but this is a little bit more, this connects with what we do in Excel. So this will allow you to get their historical data. If I go to this website, and here it goes, it's popping up. Here you go. It is currently $97.37. If you see the red arrow, that means it's down. Notice this number also changed. It's telling you the market is open. These are real-time quotes. These quotes change based on the number of people buying and selling Apple stock. So as long as the market is open, which is normal business hours generally, this number could change. Pick whatever you choose. Probably lower is better, so that way you have a greater chance of increasing your value. As you can see, in general, the stock is down. Closing price for Wednesday, it was $128, and now it's down to $97. So that person has lost right around $30 if they chose to sell at this point. You can kind of see their history here, and you can go through and find the historical data. So I want to know for the 17th of last year, the 18th of last year. Set. Alright, that's 15. I want to go to 14. Oh, this year is 16. So, and then I hit set. It was $78 in 2014. And then in 15 it was $128. So compared to last year, it went down, but 2 years ago it went up. So it's definitely fluctuating. You would report both of those prices. Once you do that, you need to figure out their gain or loss. You set up their gain or loss by taking the current price minus, so I have doubles here. I have gain or loss from 1 year and for 2 years. So if you can add that, that would be preferred. So their gain or loss, I gotta set this up a little bit differently. Since I have data for delta already set up, I'm gonna hit equals, open parentheses, and I'm gonna choose the current price. That's what we have right now. So that's in C. This is in C8. So when I click on this, it's going to put C8 in there. And then I'm going to subtract 1 year ago. We lost $22 or 22 cents. That's not too bad. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to say C8 minus E8. And close parentheses, hit enter. Something happened. Okay. I netted $13.62. So overall, since 2 years ago, if I had invested 2 years ago, I would have gained $13. The purpose of doing this is to kind of decide whether you've decided to make a good investment. Alright? If you decide maybe somebody's only lost money, they lost both times, maybe you should reconsider some of your investments. Alright? Just think about that. That is the homework for tonight.